The price of our charade, Season 1, Chapter 1, The Eviction Notice. Helena Cortez stared at the order taped to the worn wooden door of her workshop.
48 hours? This is a sick joke. My dad's machinery is not going to turn into scrap for this damn corporation.
She crumpled the document violently and shoved the crumpled paper into the pocket of her grease-stained apron, feeling her breathing speed up.
Sophia needs this place. I need this place.
With clenched teeth, she turned her back on the rustic building. The sadness gave way to a burning fury.
Someone at Vance Jewelry is going to hear me today.
The rapid steps of her leather boots cut through the crowded sidewalk of the financial district.
Get out of the way.
Helena muttered, bumping into the shoulder of a suited executive. He complained, but she didn't look back.
How can they destroy someone's life without even looking them in the face?
She tightened her grip on her bag strap, her gaze locked on the horizon. The giant Vance Jewelry tower appeared at the end of the avenue, casting an imposing and arrogant shadow over the street.
You think you can just swallow everyone up with this dirty money?
The approach only fed her stubbornness. Helena didn't slow down when she reached the headquarters. She slammed her hands hard against the heavy double-glass doors and pushed. The lobby exuded luxury and coldness.
Smells like wealth and other people's despair. Perfect.
She analyzed the contrast of her grease-stained pants against the shiny marble floor. A few rich women stopped to stare at her.
Look all you want, I'm not backing down.
The clatter of her boots tore through the ambient classical music. The reception desk sat right in the center.
That's where the charade starts to fall.
She slammed her hand on the light marble of the reception desk with a loud bang.
I want to speak with whoever signed this eviction notice. Now.
The receptionist recoiled and stated that they did not have any slots without a prior appointment. Helena leaned her torso over the counter.
You had time to send your dogs to take my workshop, but you don't have time to say it to my face?
The employee's eyes widened and she called for security, requesting a code 3 at the reception. Helena let out a short laugh through her nose, noticing the heavy approach of two men in dark suits.
Great, call the riot squad. That just proves your cowardice.
The first security guard reached the counter and ordered her to accompany them to the exit. Helena yanked her arm back with a jerk before he could touch her.
Get your hands off me. I'm not going anywhere until I talk to the boss.
She dodged an advance from the second guard, her muscles tense, stumbling over her own boot. The commotion drew the shocked stares of the executives.
Bunch of vultures.
She yelled, feeling the frustration bubble up. The perimeter was starting to close dangerously. That was when she noticed it, a side access without turnstiles and a restricted elevator whose doors had just opened.
This is my only chance.
Helena spun on her heels and bolted in an explosive dash, leaving the guards disoriented. The guards yelled to grab her and block the elevators, their voices echoing through the lobby, but adrenaline was already numbing her legs. The slippery floor almost took her down, but she kept her focus on the silver metal doors that were beginning to close.
Just a little further.
She leaped through the remaining gap, slamming her left shoulder with brute force against the door latch, falling to her knees inside the silent cabin as the slit closed for good. The armored isolation swallowed her. Helena panted desperately, leaning her back against the mirrored wall.
I did it. Oh my God, I did it.
Her shoulder throbbed, but she ignored the pain. She raised her head and faced her own crumpled and sweaty reflection.
You can't falter now. Sophia's future depends on this.
She stood up slowly, her legs still shaky, and looked at the digital panel. The red numbers climbed frantically toward the penthouse.
Whoever is up there, get ready. My family's legacy is not going to turn to dust under your shoes.
The doors opened with a discreet beep, revealing a gloomy, minimalist corridor covered in dark wood. Helena took her first step onto the thick carpet.
Here it is. The epicenter of arrogance.
The lack of secretaries and the absolute silence put her on high alert. Every step sounded deafening inside her own head.
This place tries to crush you just with the decor.
She walked to the end of the hallway and came face to face with heavy double doors.
No more hiding spots.
Her hands gripped the crumpled document in her pocket. The anger began to burn in her chest again with full force. Helena didn't knock. She pushed the solid doors with a violent kick and the strength of her arms.
The joke is over.
The echo of the invasion boomed through the massive, freezing room. The office was impressive, but her eyes locked onto the slender male figure standing with his back to her, watching the city through the massive glass window. He didn't move.
You think you can just rob people and stand there admiring the view? Turn around and face me.
The sheer rage in her voice sounded hoarse. The man's silence was a direct insult to all the desperation she carried. The man swiveled his leather chair with a sadistic slowness, finally facing her. Arthur Vance kept his hands relaxed, his perfectly sculpted face set in a glacial inexpressiveness.
What is he? A robot?
Helena wondered, panting. His dark, apathetic eyes traveled down from her messy hair to her grease-stained boots, without the slightest trace of surprise.
Invasion of private property is an interesting crime, miss.
His deep, cold voice cut through the room, loaded with bored superiority.
But what impresses me the most is the smell of rust you brought into my air.
Helena marched up to the glass desk and threw the eviction notice onto the surface.
You have exactly 1 minute to call your lawyers and cancel this.
The frontal challenge made her tilt her neck.
The Cortez workshop is not for sale, it's not going to be demolished, and it won't be a trophy on your spreadsheets.
She expected him to yell, call the police, do anything human. Arthur simply observed the crumpled paper with lifeless eyes.
This man is a black hole. He absorbs everything and gives nothing back.
She concluded in silence. Arthur brought his pale hand to his own cuff, ignoring the legal document.
And why would I alter a decision made by my board to please a hysterical intruder?
He began adjusting his silver cufflink, with a boredom that bordered on a direct insult.
This whole motionless act isn't going to work on me. Because if you don't cancel it, I will make your life a living hell in the press.
Helena rested her hands on the edge of the transparent desk and leaned forward, breaking the territorial barrier.
The press doesn't care about bankrupt workshops.
Arthur's monotone voice was driving her crazy. Helena brought her face even closer, her teeth clenched.
You don't know my stubbornness, Vance. I have nothing to lose, but you have a plastic reputation to protect.
She maintained the dangerous proximity. Arthur finally stopped adjusting his shirt cuff. The executive lifted his chin in a calculated manner, abandoning his visual indifference to establish an oppressive and direct contact.
His eyes, they're freezing.
A shiver ran down her spine, but she didn't step back. The overcast light illuminated the extreme paleness of Arthur's face, revealing subtle traces of exhaustion and chronic insomnia under his eyes. He scanned the woman's defiant features.
She's wild, unstable, completely inadequate, and perfect for the plan.
The predatory interest hid deep within those black irises. Maintaining his tactical silence, Arthur slowly raised his hand and slid it across the glass desk, his long fingers advancing toward the crumpled document she had brought.
What is he doing?
The slowness of the gesture made Helena tense up. Pinching it with 2 fingers, Arthur lifted the legal document into the air.
History of inactive debts. Property legally transferred.
He spoke as if reading any ordinary report.
You're sick. That is my family's livelihood.
Desperation leaked into Helena's voice as she felt the blow of his complete lack of empathy. He shook the paper lightly.
The law doesn't have feelings, Miss Cortez. Dramatic negotiations don't save assets.
The shock caused her defensive posture to slacken for a painful second.
Don't you dare talk to me about the law when you use your power to extort honest people. My sister needs that space. My father died for that place.
Helena pointed a trembling, yet pride-filled finger just inches from his face. The hoarseness betrayed her emotional exhaustion. Before the artisan could continue her speech, Arthur raised one hand in the air with his palm open, stopping the accusation immediately.
His silence is a physical command.
The authoritarian boundary drained the words from her mouth. Arthur pushed his hands onto the desk and stood up in a fluid motion, unfolding his threatening height.
The complacency is over.
He leaned his broad torso forward, dominating the airspace separating them and cornering Helena at the edge of the desk.
If you take one step back, you lose. Stand your ground.
She dug her foot into the carpet, denying herself the instinct to flee. The breach of personal space made the atmosphere in the large office feel unbearably heavy, colliding her scent of rain with his impeccable cologne. The profiles of both clashed in the middle of the dimly lit room. Arthur's surgical gaze dissected the trembling resilience of the young artisan.
The friction is inevitable. She hates every piece of what I represent.
The lethal tension in the air almost emitted invisible sparks.
You are out of options, Cortez.
The executive's lips parted marginally, breaking the dam of silence.
But if you want to save your sister that badly, I have an exit clause that requires a slightly more personal sacrifice on your part.
Continues in the next chapter. Like, comment and share. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real people or places is purely coincidental. Check the description for the products mentioned. All rights reserved to Eric Gomez dos Santos.